You know, sometimes you're in the midst of it all. You feel like you're doing everything you can, but nothing's quite clicking. You know, I've been there. You want nothing more to succeed than to garner some respect for yourself, than to prove yourself to the world. You know you've got more to offer. But maybe the last venture didn't quite pan out the way you wanted it to, and it's now set you back. You got to start from square one. Maybe you don't know where to start. This video's for you. So, on my journey, I've been in and out of phases in life. A lot of times of reinvention, trying new things. And that's pretty much what got me through it, is that trying new things and constantly reinventing myself. If something wasn't working at the time, you got to be prepared to step away from whatever that may be. If you want to become a new person, don't expect to become that person around the same group of friends, because they're just going to hold you to that accord and keep you in that same position because they don't recognize the new you. That's a limiting factor. But if, you know what, sometimes it feels like you're just throwing shit at the wall and nothing's sticking. Keep doing that, because eventually something's going to hit. And what I would advise is find something that you can obsess over, something that makes you feel like you're progressing, something you can give all your time to, something you can think about, something you can improve at. As men, we need this. 2 things you'll need as a man at some point in your life. You need to learn how to fight, and you need to get in the gym. These are 2 things you can already obsess over. If you're in that in-between phase, tick off one of these boxes. If you're not in the gym, get in the fight gym. If you're not in the fight gym, get in the weights gym. Simple as that. Now, I do think there's a limit to the fighting. There is a point you can take it, unless you're trying to go pro, of course. Because there is diminishing returns. Because in the real world, look, you only need about a year's worth of fight training under your belt to be better than most people. Like 1 consecutive year training hard, studying, learning under a coach, preferably, learning techniques, that's going to take you far. And that's going to put you ahead of 99% of people. Because if you're the person who wants to travel the world, get some girls here and there, come on, let's be real, we've all thought about it. You're going to run into some fights. You're going to end up in the bar fight. It's going to happen. You're going to end up in some disagreements. That's life. And you're going to need to know how to handle yourself, purely for peace of mind. If you're going to disagree with someone, you've got to understand that sometimes shit kicks off. That's a matter of fact, matter of life. And most people have a story like this because it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. And it takes one shoulder roll, spill a drink, boom, kicks off. And you also want to be the person that your friends can rely on. Someone who knows what they're doing. Like, it's nice when people can feel comfortable because they're like, I know this guy's got my back. I know he knows what he's doing. That's value. That's a valuable thing you can bring to a friendship, to a brotherhood. People can rely on you. That's going to make you some friends a lot quicker as well. So that's valuable. Keep that into accord. I'll go into a few of my stories. You know, I've done the bar fights in the Alps. Been there. Done pushing people down the stairs and getting headbutt. That's life. That's life. We'll chat about this scar another day. I don't know if you can see that. Another time. But fighting's going to happen. And actually, I will go into a story. This is the story why I push fighting so much and why I think it's essential. When I was in England, I was with my lady. And we were walking through this tunnel just to get a little closer look at the water. Now, this tunnel's about 150 meters. Looping, bending tunnel like this. No lights, nothing. We're walking, holding hands, you know, it's starting to echo halfway through the tunnel. All of a sudden, I just hear some giddy, like jingly laughter, like 2 hyenas running around the corner. These 2 little fuckers, like proper, like jangly motherfuckers. Like, you can tell when someone looks like trouble. Now, I've studied a bit of psychology. I know how to handle these sort of things because, look, they would have robbed me. 100% they would have robbed me. And I'm with my lady. Who knows what could have gone down. But I know the 2 things that attackers look for. They look, how long does it take you to notice them? If they've identified you as a target and you're just looking around, looking at your feet, distracted, looking busy, boom, that's a factor. They'll take that into account. You're more likely to be attacked because you're not going to see it coming. 2, changing consistencies, changing your patterns. Are you strong? Are you this force just driving through the earth? Or are you kind of like inconsistent, you're wobbling around? That's another thing they look for, because it's a display of weakness. So I've studied these sort of things. So chest out, look big and strong, not to incite a challenge, but to show that there is one there if they want it. Look them dead in the eyes, how you doing? Now, nothing ended up happening in this situation, but look at the alternative. If I wasn't confident, if I didn't have some sort of physical presence, I'm beat to a pulp and my girl's getting dragged away kicking and screaming and I'm in a foreign country, what the fuck do I do? That's the alternative. Off a peaceful girlfriend, boyfriend trip walking down to the water. You can't anticipate these things and they can kick off at any second. So there's real world value there. So that has to be happening. Dedicate at least some time to fighting. If you're in between phases, you're not 100% sure, sometime at some point in your life needs to be put towards fighting. You've got to protect yourself, your family, and your friends. It's valuable. Get that done. Only for a year. And then just chip away, hobby here, there, because you will lose it. But once you have that residual, it's easy to tap back into. Now the gym, if you're in between phases and you've never thought about the gym, look, I think it's a pretty hot topic. Most people are in the gym. It's popular discussion. If you're not in the gym, you'll simply get left behind. The world's competitive, and especially with all these peptides, steroids coming out, everyone's got an unfair advantage. Me, I'm never going to double in the steroids and the peptides, purely because I see my life as a long-term benefit. Hence why I'm also talking to the camera. You don't just want to be known for your physique. You want to be known for your thoughts and ideas. Because, look, it's diminishing returns to an extent at some point. At some point, you are going to lose that muscle mass. At some point, you're going to stop having to take the gear. And then who knows where your self-image will be and your mentality will be at that point. So get in the gym, but stay away from all these enhancements. You don't need them. That's actually short-term thinking. And it's only going to cost you your health and your mental health, in all honesty. But get yourself in the gym. That's going to teach you discipline. It's going to teach you timing, organization, and professionalism. If you want to grow in the gym, it's going to require professionalism. You're going to need to track your macros and track your lifts. And you're going to need to put in effort every single time. There's a reason people go to the gym and they look the same after 2 years. Because they don't put any effort in. They don't push themselves to the point where growth is forced. Scratch that to the side. We've covered the basics, the physical stuff. In between phases. Now this is likely because you're lost on a financial standpoint. As men, we need to feel like we're making money. We're progressing. You know, we're building ourselves up, because we do live in a financial world. Without money, you're not much. You could be the best fighter in the world. Without money, you're not much. You're going to work security for someone. You need cash. And I know the times in my life where I've felt the most lost and the most in between phases, so to speak, is when I've started a side hustle. I've put 6 months into it and something's gone wrong and it's not worked out. Those are the times where I've just given my all to the gym, to fitness, and keeping that obsession. Because I know what you're thinking if you clicked on this video. You want to obsess over something. You want to obsess over something. You want to come home from work and just smash away at a keyboard in pursuit of something. I hear what you're saying. Now you just need to try shit. Research and try. Now what you can do is reverse engineer. What is the life you want? Outline this. What's the life you want? Now I don't want to say realistic, because look, there's all the chance you live a sick fucking life and you should always gun for that. But when I say realistic, I mean short to medium term, something that can be tangible, that can actually happen. Right? So think about your business models and think about which ones lead you to this short-term, mid-term life that you'll be happy with, that you'll be satisfied with, something that you can see yourself doing for a while, that you're going to be able to sink your teeth into, something that you maybe have a competitive advantage with. If you're good at speaking, do something on camera. If you're good at tech, build websites. But you're only going to figure out what you're good at after doing it. And the simple thing, the more you fuck around, the more you find out. Try more, fail more, succeed quicker. That's it. Just take a stab. Take a stab at something. Now, another thing to consider when you're in between phases in life, sometimes you'll get dragged into certain things out of impatience and almost out of fear, to be honest, because you're in that frantic state. I myself have done this. I'll be honest with you. I've started a few businesses, such as, at one point I did get myself into the OnlyFans management. And, I learned a lot about life. I did learn a lot about male-female dynamics. I did become a better person as a result of that. However, it's taxing on the soul, boys. That's a taxing one. Because you think about it, I'll let you in on some insight. You have all these girls who have OnlyFans. They're not running it themselves. There's a bloke behind it, and there's usually about 50 Pakistanis hopping on the account, pushing all their accounts, Twitters, Instagrams, whatever. Now, in the early days, you're doing it yourself, right? So, sign a few clients. I'm here, I'm chatting to the boys. How you doing? Shane, how's your Friday? And very quickly I went, this is fucked. I'm not doing this. So got on the call with, I think his name was Nigel from Nigeria. Sounds like I'm making it up. That's dead set his name. And I remember being on this Zoom call with Nigel. And I've got to make sure he knows what he's talking about. Like, he's got some chat. He can talk to the boys. So I'm sat there on a Zoom call, dead silent, texting this dude. Like, hey baby, how you doing? Just see if he's got chat. Like, man, it was the funniest scenario. And even the time, like, I signed this one girl. And at the time, she was getting her nose and she just got her boobs done. And I answer this call. I'm in a nice shirt looking schmick. Got everything, got plant in the background, bit of decor. And middle of the interview, she just whips her tits out for no reason at all. Now, what I think happened there was she was testing me. She was going, okay, this is the guy who's going to lead me and who I'm trusting with my content, my business, and is going to push me forward and is professional. So if I suddenly went, nice, I think that would have drawn some red flags with her. So I don't know if she's smart enough to have pulled that maneuver on me, but it's something that may have happened. But anyway, I cut back to the chase. I said, look, can we stay on topic? I just want to cover a few more things and get down to business. But what I'm going with is I wouldn't have stepped into that business if I didn't have that hunger and that impatience where I was very eager to jump into something. Same as with crypto. I did make a mistake in crypto, wanting to jump on the bandwagon and jump on that train. And subsequently made a bit of money, but at the time when I was up about 10, 20K. Problem is I was in Zimbabwe. I couldn't access my shit while I was in Zimbabwe. So I thought, okay, whatever. I'm out of here in a couple of days. Should be sweet by then. Once I'd left and regained access to my CoinSpot, that's the trading platform we use in Oz, I was now sub 5K. I had lost 5K in that week's period. So I thought, fuck. Like, all right, well, let me just ride the wave. Let me just see where it goes. So what ended up happening, it just trickled down. I ended up losing it all because it got to a point where I was now emotionally invested in this pot, in this money, where I couldn't reallocate because I wanted to recover those losses. I couldn't accept that I'd lost those losses. And what ended up happening was I lost more subsequently. So it taught me a valuable lesson about emotion when it comes to money and being indifferent when it comes to money. Because once you get emotionally invested and there's that impatience involved, you're going to make the wrong decisions. This is why most people don't make it in trading, because it's very hard to detach yourself and become indifferent towards money. Because it is a life force and it is important. And you work hard for your money. It's hard to see it go out the door like that, of course. Of course it is. But that's why you do just need to stay on task. Now, looping back to what I was talking about before, when you're in between phases, try more. try more, succeed quicker. And don't be afraid to fail in those early days. A lot of the times, starting stops people. You don't have to be the best at anything in the early days. As long as you're trying, as long as you're putting the reps in, something's going to tick over. And what you'll find is, you jump into one business, all of a sudden it correlates with another. And now, your drop shipping business, I was only doing nose strips, didn't really know what I was doing. I was selling these disposable cameras. You now know how to talk to manufacturers. You know how to get a custom design. You know how to build a store. You know how to market it. You know how to do social media influencer marketing. And that can be applied to your next business. Like, you just never know. Just be picking up little things where you can. You should have a podcast in every day. Every time you're in the gym, listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook. Constantly be learning, be a student of life. And look, just because you don't have a business right here, right now, doesn't mean you're a failure. You can be building up towards that business. You could be putting in the reps, preparing you, so you've laid the foundation, laid the groundwork, so that when this business opportunity arises, you're prepared. You know the fundamentals. You know how to hire the sick team because you've spoken to people in the past. For example, I already have a couple of people for positions that I will need to be filled in the future that I can just call on WhatsApp and say, hey, I've got an opportunity. Look, whether or not they're busy at the time, that's another story. But I know how to find these people, and that's a result of just previous businesses. So you don't know until you've done it, and you don't have to hit home runs every shot. Sometimes you just play defensive and then wait, opportunity arises, smack it out the park. That's it, man. That's it, my friend. So when you're in between phases, the most important thing is to stay busy, stay obsessed with something. I know it's the end goal, and sometimes you're lost. You don't know what exactly to work on. Here's the thing. It's all about consistency and repetition. If you don't know what to work on, you're going to pick up a language. You're going to learn everything you need to learn about health and fitness. Start from scratch. Fitness is going to be a part of your life, your whole life. It's very important. I mean, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. Like, if there's a certain quote, it's an analogy. I can't quite think of it, but something like, when your health's in order, you've got 99 problems. When your health's fucked, you've got one problem. There's one thing on your mind. And that just shows you the importance of health and why it needs to be prioritized and looked after. Plus, whatever knowledge you have, you can pass on to your wife. Then she can be healthy, look good, feel happy. She's going to be a better wife to you, of course. So there's multiple benefits. And who's to say you don't do a little coaching program here and there, make some money off it? You're going to make friends, you're going to get respect. Look, there's enough about the gym. We all know why it's good. But dial in with that, understand it, and start there. You're going to take that professionalism into other areas. Socials is another easy one you can jump on today. Start running your mouth. Build that acumen. Get confident. Decide who you want to be. Yeah. Decide who you want to be. Decide why you want to be them. With a strong why, you can get through anyhow. With a strong why, you can bear anyhow. Doesn't matter what happens. If you know where you want to go, you know who you want to be, you'll get there. You will. It's a matter of time. Especially if you're watching a video like this. Especially if you've stayed this far in. It's going to happen, my friend. It's going to happen. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the belief. Just shoot the gun. Something's going to hit. Good luck, my friend. I'm believing in you. You got this.